Hey guys, this is Dre. This is a video tutorial for Zerg, and what I'll be looking at today is how you can defend a Zerg against an early attack by melee units. So melee units are units that don't have range, and obviously in the early game that is predominantly Zerglings and Zealots. And I guess the problem for the Zerg is that there are a few openings in 1v1, so an early pull or a 2-gate proxy sort of rush from Protoss that are quite difficult to deal with. And in team games, of course, you will often be in a situation where you might have a 2v1 type rush on your base, or you might have lost all your units in sort of any matchup and you're looking to try and hold against a counter attack. So I guess the idea here is to create a defensive space in your main that you can hold pretty easily with just a few of the units that you would normally make. And I guess the thing to be clear on is that although the Zerg often can't wall off their ramp, as is the case here, they certainly can put buildings next to each other and next to minerals that makes it a very confined sort of space, and a space that's easy to defend. So the build I'm going here is a very standard build. It's a 14 gas, 13 pool, and what I'll be doing is placing my spawning pool at the top here against the hatchery and against the minerals, just like that. So what that is going to do is it's going to mean that this whole area is sort of walled off, and that any melee units that want to attack, such as say Zerglings, they need to come through the mineral line and also can go through this way. And I guess as you'll see, I'm going to place my queen and defensive structures in this area so that when the melee units try and get in, they'll have a real tough time actually accessing sort of my defensive structures. And I guess it's about sort of abusing pathing sort of problems when you get an area which is sort of very flooded with units and with structures where there are no gaps, such as in between here and in between here. So I'm going to make my queen, and I'm also going to put down a crawler. So I guess I would do this in a circumstance where I've scouted some sort of early rush that I'm worried about. I'm going to put the crawler down one space below the pool here. So just try that again. There. So as you can see, there is this sort of narrow space here where the drones are going backwards and forwards, and that is sort of a little mini corridor that I'm going to put my queen in. And what this means is that my queen is pretty much protected on most of the sides. So we'll get the queen to hold position. So as you can see, the queen here is protected by the spawning pool and the hatchery, and it's only got this sort of narrow corridor that these drones are able to go in and out of. But a melee unit like a Zergling or a Zealot, you'll be lucky if you can get 2 units in there to attack the queen. Likewise, you will also see that the crawler is quite well protected, as again it only has 2 sides that are available, as it's flush against the hatchery here. So if I see the attack coming, I will just put my Zerglings in here and get them to hold position. And between the Zerglings and the drones that are going backwards and forwards and the walled off area, this becomes very, very congested, and units will have a really tough time getting in to attack my queen and my crawler, which means as they attack, I can continue to produce more Zerglings to continue to defend, and I shouldn't really lose too many, if any, drones at all, because the drones are still mining. I don't get them to attack. They won't be targeted unless the enemy manually targets them. Okay, so here we have a replay of the setup, which is identical to the one that I showed you in the build section of the video. And here we can see a replay where there are 5 zealots that are going to try and attack this defensive setup. And they're sort of trying to get in to attack, but the pathing is all quite difficult. He sort of runs away, and I guess this is where a bit of micro comes in, and you're just trying to get the zealots to come into range of your ranged units, and pretty much sort of use the confined spaces to really limit the effectiveness of their superior numbers. And that rush with 5 zealots is held off pretty easily with just sort of 6 to 8 Zerglings.